decks to start things off.
I mean, we were discussing all day long about how K9 has showcased such an incredible performance during these 2 days of the event, and right now we can experience different approaches. One, Vanquish K9 against Mitsurugi K9.
Both have been on stream already, and so we know a bit what to expect. And both were victorious in their matches on stream. Actually, no, Joshua, no, never mind. Joshua had that sportsmanship ending, I remember now, but they managed their way to fight through, and both on a 13-2 score.
And I mean, how do you feel about this matchup? Meaning that K9 for both decks is very, very strong, but Vanquish, I think that has the edge right now, because not only they cannot trigger so easily the K9 and wait for the right moment, for example, to activate a Caesar or a board game hand, but also another important fact is that they have the protection for the Mitsurugi, for Murakumo.
That is right, and normal summon Sagi is definitely not what you hope to begin with. It's less of a concern in a pure, Mitsurugi deck with the K9s in, but still, here, as we can see, we are going to be using materials from the deck. And yeah, I mean, I was also a bit skeptic of Giuseppe's opener when we saw him in the previous rounds. And I think with the Vanquish Shoal, it really matters what you draw, because card quality is insanely different. Whether you open the Ollisu or the one-off Rasen and stake your soul, but especially the ends in which you open Ollisu with the right attributes, that feels like playing a completely different game. And so often it is depending on that, but I think the die roll was also huge, because K9 Vanquish Soul going first is almost impossible to stop.
I mean, even going second, you have the right attributes, you can also start interacting with your opponent. And I think we might see some action right here, because we have activated the effects in the graveyard, so a potential Izuna from Joshua's side can be activated. And also, as you mentioned, Holy Show is always a threat.
I mean, it also feels like that, Vanquish Shoal has been one of the key decks of the weekend for sure. And I mean, we mentioned it quite plenty of times. K9s, I think, are, amongst maybe more than 0.5% of our duelists in the top 8. We will get to see it maybe later when we have the stats, but here it is.
And as we mentioned, Izuna is a threat right now, because, I mean, for 2 days right now we see Izuna just been summoned all time, and it is one of those cards that I think has stolen the spotlight during this YCS.
Izuna is the new Fenrir.
Yeah, the new Phantasme.
Yeah. I mean, you remember like the time when Fenrir was like a master. It really feels like that now Izuna is the card of the moment, honestly. Every single time touching the field, he creates so many problems, and I mean, we've mentioned it, I think it's very synergic, and it's definitely the deck that can counteract better Dragotail, which the deck, I think, most of our players felt like would have been the most represented deck this weekend. And overall, I really feel like also the consistency in terms of approach, it's very good,
And let's see, of course, now we have to discard the card for Murakumo, and it is case for K9.
And right now, for which Xyz are you considering to summon? I mean, Reaper is one potential, Xyz that can be summoned right now, because it can interact very, very well against the Mitsurugi. And also, Nurse Knight, it can be also an option in order to take Murakumo, make it my material, so it cannot be summoned back with the prayers.
And yeah, that would be clutch if you're able to do it, but obviously prayers, it's tricky to play around, but no, it's gonna be a Tyrus. That's a blast from the past. I mean, Joshua is probably one of the few duelists who was playing back in the day, but this card was played in wind-ups like back in 2012, and it's essentially a Zeus enabler, because it's really tough to get rid of, and it allows you to upgrade easily, because it cannot be destroyed by card effects. And so it's really, really good against the Mitsurugi.
Can this mean a potential Zeus? Because we have an Xyz that cannot be destroyed by card effects, so we can enter battle phase. Right now he's untargetable and undestroyable, so we can just enter battle phase and summon Zeus on the main phase 2, and in order to clear the field of our opponent.
Yeah, we got the chance to see Josh on stream yesterday, but you know the card was not summoned, and I think we didn't even notice that it was there, honestly. And I think it makes a lot of sense, especially because it's super powerful, and most of our players may not be super familiar with it. I mean, we were talking about Genesis before in our previous rounds, and this is definitely not Genesis, but it could be, you know, one of those cards, you know, taken from the past for sure that makes the difference.
Oh, wow. But we have our own Izuna here, and that's huge. I mean, as you can see, it really is a splashable card right now. And I think I see an Ash Blossom in the end from Giuseppe, which could have been used on the Izuna. So it must mean he has a backup plan for this. But getting rid, basically now what the Tyrus is not destroyable, and you cannot target it.
Yeah.
So it's really, really, really tough to deal.
I feel like also didn't activate Ash there because he was not, you know, like not conscious at all that Tyrus was there, to be fair.
Yeah.
You know,
and
like,
now we go into a link free. Ooh, and there it is. Okay. Another card that we have seen plenty of times this weekend as a deck option. And that is the Gorgon of... There it comes.
Would you want to try to tell the name?
Because it's Greek.
Yeah.
Ziloftonia.
Ah, it's quite close, yeah.
Okay, quite close, huh?
Ziloftonia.
Ah, Ziloftonia. Sorry, the accent. The accent gets you. But yeah, here we see what we are used to seeing a lot and plenty of times. But it only...
The activate effects, right?
Yeah, only the activated effects, no? So yeah. Maybe a miscalculation from Giuseppe.
But no, it's not a miscalculation, because the motion that it points, you cannot attack, so you cannot access Zeus.
Yeah, no, but you can see that now he's asking the effect, so I'm pretty sure he thought it would be destroyed. And no, it says that activated effects are negated, and Tyrus is a continuous effect. It just says this card cannot be destroyed by card effects. And now you see Giuseppe just looking around in confusion.
Worst case scenario, though, it may be there is an issue with activated effects, since yes, it cannot negate Tyrus, but at least he cannot attack in order to access Zeus. Joshua needs to find another Xyz, which is quite possible with K9, obviously, in order to find a way to access his Zeus.
Yeah, and now he's reading his own card. That's something you don't see every day, having a translation of his own card. Maybe he has an... I have no idea what's going on right now. I can only assume that... Could it be that maybe in Italian it has a slightly different text? Sometimes this sort of things happen, but I would be shocked if that was the case. I'm gonna actually try to look it up, so I'm curious now. No, it has the same tag, of course.
I mean,
who knows? Anyways, this is brutal because, as you have mentioned, at least, yeah, it cannot attack.
Yeah, and also we have purification that can deal with Zeus. Except, no. We need to find a way to have one more material to Zeus. So we need to find a way to destroy one of our cards in order for Zeus to have one more material in order to have 4 at least, and to change his effect again to purification. Otherwise we can deal with Zeus with purification.
Yeah, I mean,
and trade 1 for 1.
For now, the issue is, anyways, that cannot be accessed. So. I mean,
we didn't set with Reaper the D4, so I'm guessing that we have Hard Droid, maybe.
I think that may be the case, and
Yeah.
I'm still considering also if the Rush Blossom would have been activated on Joshua Zizuna, maybe this would have been already super scary feel, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, could totally be the, if you think about it, if you don't know Tyrus, you can get rid of anything with that Murakumo, and I mean, first time for everything, I guess. And
Not the best thing to say on the top 8 match.
definitely not on the top 8, but again, there is not too much to despair, because it's still locked, it still cannot attack. So
I think that we are considering a Vallon, but Tyrus has Lupis as a material, so still cannot be targeted.
yeah. Ooh, and another card from the past,
Durandal.
Durandal. Wow,
I know, but
Durandal.
he cannot, he
Yeah.
cannot do it. Yeah,
Because it's light,
Yeah.
of course. Yeah, went for Durandal, then realized, of course, the restriction. I mean, the nerves are there. You have played your entire life, I would say, for a shot at something like this, Giuseppe, and you face off against a player like Joshua in top 8 on stream. It's not easy. At least the only thing I would suggest him if I was a coach would be take your time. You don't need to rush, because, I mean, probably all tournament long, it's difficult to switch because you know that the double loss is there. Top 8 has no time limit. Of course, you still have to play at a reasonable pace, but just take your time, relax, try and at least breathe, and that is it. So, what an opener, I mean, from Giuseppe. Really impressive stuff. Shows us how he made it this far. But now it's back to Joshua, who has to come up with a solution for this puzzle.
If we find a way to deal with purification before summoning Zeus, we can just summon Zeus and
I know,
clear
but
the
you
forfeit.
cannot attack.
you cannot attack. Yeah,
With Tyrus,
You cannot.
you can attack with another Xyz though.
Okay, but you need to make it, and there is
Yeah,
Valon, purification. Cioè, you make it sound as if, vabbè, just make another one.
You cannot commit your purification early.
No, of course, but is he gonna try to enter battle phase? That would be devastating if he forgets the other effect of Gorgon, no?
And also you don't need to make Xyz.
Yeah,
You can just
I think we enter battle phase, and now he realizes, oh wow, Joshua gives away again to his opponent, both feeling the pressure right now, wasting a battle phase. I mean, you can see him smiling a bit. You still enter the battle phase, you can enter it, so...
yeah, that played a huge role because yeah.
And yeah, that is...
So, as we mentioned, Joshua is going first probably, and we can experience if Vanquish or K9, it is one of those decks that you really cannot afford going second against it.
Yeah.
And Purulia, we spoke for this card, it is the card that you really want to see, but As Blossom has been activated in order to counter it.
What can you do? I'm thinking back...
The only problem with that is that Vanquish really depends on having a fire attribute in the hand, and this may play a very crucial role.
Yeah, but this case, unless there is a draw and lock, even just the Noroi would be so much if Joshua decides to go for it. And I mean, that's so strong to stop Purulia here.
And we're adding Izuna that can be summoned.
We are using Izuna.
Yeah, that can be summoned.
Yeah.
Since Purulia has been activated, despite being negated the effect through As Blossom, it was not negating the activation, so it still counts for the summon of Izuna.
Yeah, and that's big. No other response from Giuseppe, so Joshua is free to do whatever he wants. Right now, the only question is, does he also have access to the Vanquish Soul cards? Or is this gonna be a pure K9 opener?
I mean, even a pure K9 opener against Mitsurugi is very, very decent. However, obviously, you want to see your Vanquish in order to have that protection through card effects. And we can see Madlov being activated. So I think Joshua is in a very, very good
this
spot.
is a crazy opener, of course. And I mean, Joshua is going to make the most out of it. Again, one of the few ways are Charmies, but when there is just one Ash to stop it and no other response, we all know how oppressive this strategy can be. And we get the Rasen. Of course, this is not Genesis format. We do have links, and Rock of the Vanquisher can be used.
I mean, pretty stalling start, honestly, here from Joshua, and it's going to be very tough. We mentioned it a lot of times. Whenever Vanquish Soul starts like this, it's going to be very difficult to stop it, especially now. Here comes the Noroi being summoned onto the field, along with the Jiaolong, and it's going to be very difficult here for Giuseppe, especially to recover from this, because it's going to be a lot of different disruptions from Joshua.
Yeah, this is quite tough for the Italian. Getting another Izuna for next turn. Oh, do we have... Yeah, wow. With double fire, pretty much we are free to extend as much as possible. From the side deck, usually we bring in the Snow Devil. So that's going to be another huge way to deal with our opponent field.
And I think that we added Holy Shoe, right?
I think so.
We didn't catch it, probably.
Well, it has all of them. Yeah,
makes a lot
exactly.
of sense.
Yes.
We have all the different attributes. Yeah.
And double fire in order for us to special summon from the deck. And Borger has been summoned in the field.
Yep, we're gonna have 2 more draws thanks to this Borger. And I mean, we know how strong this deck is when it gets to do this. And it's really tough to stop, because as you can see, even in a universe in which Giuseppe is able to break through everything, you have a full card dead.
And we access the end phase, and now we can set Snow Devil, as you mentioned. It is the card that gives the protection from the Murakuma effect to destroy.
Yeah. Let's take a look. This could be a quick one, and it is a quick one indeed, Giuseppe. Here they are for one of these 2. After 15 rounds, this will be the last end of Yu-Gi-Oh! That they play. And Giuseppe goes first. There is no Mulcharmi right now yet from Joshua. And the first card will be the Abakiri. Is there a Fuvalos? Is there something? Not quite yet for Joshua. But this at least will put those K9 cards active.
I mean, in the Mitsurugi strategy, I think it is one of those decks that establish from the start the ground for Izuna to be activated.
Absolutely, and it seems like we won't be responding. Let's see, Joshua is thinking about this. Does he have the Izuna? Not yet.
So I want to see if Joshua has an Ash Blossom, because there was a debate, I think, between the players if you are going to use Ash Blossom in Saji, or you just wait for the effect of the Ritual Spell in order to deny the access to Murakumo from summoning himself from the deck through the Ritual Spell.
There it is, second activation, and it's a Futsu. And here comes the boss master of the Mitsurugi deck, that Murakumo.
No responses here from Joshua.
Yeah.
Wow, it's quite unusual to be fair.
We have to wait and see. I mean, even last, in the previous and first game, you wait for that Izuna possibly.
Yes, I mean the the most common hand drops like Ash Blossom, Fugalos, obviously would have been activated already, or even Roll and Lockbird. But Izuna, for example, it is one of those hand traps that you need to use on the right time, so you can let your opponent advance a little bit, and since we want to establish Tyrus, we can just wait for the right moment.
Yeah, at the same time, there is possibly an Etsa play I'm thinking about, which is If you have that Izuna and it resolves, if you summon the Tyrus in the extra monster zone, no, you cannot really interact with the Gorgon because it points up, no?
Yeah.
So you wouldn't be able to use it to stop the Tyrus.
You can make IP and make the Gorgon the main monster zone.
But you need the zones
Yeah,
that they want. It's a
yes.
bit more complicated because you need to have something pointing down, and then it could be an interesting way to play this game.
And also the Pot of Prosperity here being activated from Giuseppe just to top it off, and maybe looking for some interaction for Josh next turn. It's just considering how many Kairos to banish.
But at least the good thing is there won't be any really powerful trap card that we can find with this from the side deck. So let's take a look. Non-engine is what we are looking for. Oof, Droll and Lockbird could be huge.
Yeah, the
Let's
only
see.
issue right now is that I think that Giuseppe was looking for those K9 cards, and obviously some non-engine cards like Drone and Lockbird. And right now I can only see one possibility for him. I mean, Drone and Lockbird is there for a reason, and since he has already accessed his Mitsurugi engine, I don't think that any potential Mitsurugi ad would help him advance right now.
No K9s in sight, and that means it's Droll for sure. Is it though?
Could you debate it with permanence? But I think no, right?
I would always take the Droll, honestly, in this. Like, between the two, for sure, I think Droll is just better. I don't know what he's asking Joshua right now. Interesting. Maybe trying to get a read, asking a sneaky question. But yeah, he gets that Droll and Lock. Bird, do we have the Kane? We normal summon the Droll and Lock. Wow. And that is going to be an IP Mascherena. Do we have the Izuna now, though? That is the big question. Do you think we have a second Droll and Lock in hand?
Or all this was an act?
And it's a pass. No.
Wow.
Entraps for Joshua. But at least it's huge news that there were no K9 either for Giuseppe. This is a much more doable start than what happened in game one. So this is quite open still.
I think statistically it's quite impossible not to pick like any end traps, honestly. Especially considering the amount of Josh plays, but yeah.
Yeah, but on the other hand, if in his hand he has only engine, it's very important for Vanquish or K9.
And the Jokul plus Gialong already possibly asking to be Murakumo'd away, but what do we have? Is it the Purification? Ooh. Interesting choice to use it here, but I
if
guess
you have a Bestial maybe, right now it will be a tremendous time to activate it.
But anyways, you know, let's see, because I don't even think you use it, no? You just want to revive it afterwards. Yeah. Or do we?
We use it.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we can use it anyways because we can link it off, no? So it does resolve, so now we can shuffle back the ritual spell, maybe get a prayers. Yeah, we do access prayers. And then our plan pretty much is we can use this IP to put it back in the graveyard and then use the Futsu to revive it and use the Regeki effect. But what is Joshua going to do about it? The good news is you keep in hand the fire.
Let's see what's coming up next.
Case for K9 is up next. And Giuseppe is debating whether to use the Murakumo. He does.
No response, I think, from Joshua.
Yeah, no response, and so he discards the Gialong we knew about, but now case for K9 will resolve. Let's see what he wants to go for. A lot of great options, and it's the Lantern.
And
there's another Droll.
There is another Droll, and this Droll hurts so much. Droll and Lockbird coming down. Is there ever... No, probably no. I'm thinking... No, because anyways, even if you Lantern, you can chain IP, and then when it's resolved, you bring back the Murakumo with Futsu, no? For example, this is what we could do here if we are Giuseppe.
And I mean, this is why also we activated Murakumo before to revive himself, because obviously we gave access to the K9 effects. However, we wanted the ad since we wanted to activate Ron Logbert later.
This is a huge moment for Giuseppe. Does he react here or does he take things slowly? Because you are not necessarily forced to do it here. It's just convenient, let's say. I mean, if you wait for the summon, you can use the IP there. But, I mean, I think it might just be worth it. And we do go for it. I think it's the correct play.
And we are going to say Dynamondo.
Dynamondo is the choice.
Since SP will not have a valid target, only the potential graveyard target. Otherwise, it is in brackets a waste, since we are going to Murakumo probably in order to clear the field.
Yeah, we could. We are not necessarily forced to go for it though, because now we have the Mondo. So let's take a look. Yeah, I think he's gonna try and wait a little bit here. Because you can always use the other effect of Dynamondo, tributing itself to special summon back the Murakumo, no? And yeah. We add back Ritual. And basically this is saying, okay, even if you use the effect of Lantern, what can you even get? I mean, you already used the case, so we don't really mind.
We are under draw.
Yeah, we're also under draw.
Also.
Yeah, you're right. As if that wasn't enough. Yeah, it's rough. Oof. I mean, yeah, Giuseppe is having a read at it. I guess you might just try and push, but if you push to battle, Futsu is also there. You have two different ways, and yeah, it makes sense. We just push to battle phase to try and get the Dyna out of the way.
And also, that when battle phase is very important, because right now Giuseppe will get another turn, which is very important with all this follow-up in his hand.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost never a matter of can we win this turn. It was a matter of can we establish something. And Giuseppe is debating because, as mentioned, he also has Futsu. He has two ways to revive Murakumo. And I mean, I guess you get punished by a normal summon of a K9, maybe. But is it really a punish? And yeah, Giuseppe plays it safe, plays it slow. Basically, he lets this go through because he still has the Futsu. Let's see if he gets punished.
I think it makes sense being conservative here. Just wait and see what Joshua's up next. Okay, here's the Izuna.
And the Izuna is actually great news because... never mind. The bell is huge. What a game. What a game this is. I was about to say Izuna special summon. There must be a catch behind it because you could have normal summoned it to play around it. But if we special summon, we have the bell, and so now the game is back online for Joshua. Troll and Lock is still out there.
Yeah, I mean, is it? What are you going to access? But right now, we'll have some impacts when your opponent has prayers and ritual spell in his hand.
I mean,
you have to summon something to deal with.
Tyrus. Your favorite Tyrus friend. Maybe. I mean, Giuseppe panicked a little bit with the Tyrus. Maybe he's gonna do it again. I mean, yeah, the thing is, what option does he run in the extra deck? Because it's kind of tight at the moment. We already saw Valon and we saw the Tyrus. Does he have... He has Nash Knight package. But, I mean...
Yeah, I think Josh as well is considering which one to go for. Not an easy spot, to be fair.
Not at all. And again, the good news is there is no time because we want to witness every single instance of these two players battling it out, and it makes sense. The Futsu is too much of an issue, and you can see already Giuseppe pointing at it because he's gonna use its effect to revive from the graveyard, because it's not once per turn.
I think Nash Knight was the best option from Joshua, since he plays 2 target for him, so he can activate it again in Giuseppe turn. However, right now I think it's in a very, very tough spot. We still have the Lupus in graveyard though. That can
but alone
doesn't
to
really
access
do
at
much,
least Typhon.
and there he comes. So we are going to take the Murakumo, I mean, and give it back, no?
Yes, but at least right now Murakumo cannot be summoned through the effect of prayers, since he has sent to the graveyard as a material.
And there is a Ghost Bell on Giuseppe's side of things too, to shut down the last monster. 1 face down card for Joshua, and so many resources available to Giuseppe. What could that face down even be? I think we drew into the last draw, maybe. Is it?
Oh no, it's a K9. Well,
no. Okay, it's the first K9, I think Jokul. And here it comes, Mitsurugi Ritual summoning a Bakiri. We have to be careful with how many reptiles we've used.
I mean, we still have a Habakiri in the main deck.
Yeah. We have been through a lot, but...
And
is he playing 2 Murakumo?
And you only want to access the mirror right now to ritual back.
He's playing 2 Murakumo. One only. Okay.
He can just add right now mirror and go for game.
And here is also the effect of Great Purification.
I don't think that he can do that, because it was used as an excess material, right?
I'm gonna bring it up.
Purification special summons from the graveyard, but I think that Murakumo was sent there as an excess material. So if that's the case, I think that. But
I think we are pushing and revealing the prayers that we knew about. Only 400 life points left for the former YCS Bologna champion. Giuseppe is just keep on activating his own. And that is it.